What's going on? How was your week, man? We back.
Yeah, we're back. Are we recording?
We're recording.
All right, sweet. Life is good. It is not the easiest, but it's very good.
It's very good. So
Yeah.
what's good about it?
I think honestly, God.
Oh, so that's I was just watching a podcast last night. Super powerful, wealthy guy says that he's an atheist, but he believes that we need religion because people need something to believe in. I guess he was trying to say, keep balance in the world.
Yep.
And he was like, people get caught up on that when I say that. And he's like, do you really think those people that are like, he was like, you need to go to church. Like, this is the end. Do you really think those people that go to church, like, really believe that something's out there, something's up there, or whatever they're posturing themselves to pray to or pray about is actually, do you think they actually believe that that's what's going on?
He was saying this, or the podcast?
This is what the guest was saying to the podcast.
Okay.
Yeah. And so let's talk about that. Like, what is it about God? It sounds like you're saying he's present in some kind of way.
He is present. One of the things I thought would be interesting to talk about this morning is persevering through hard times.
Yeah. That's right. We were supposed to talk about that.
Well, we are talking about it.
Right. We're talking about it right now.
So you asked me about what's good about my life. We talked before when I was living in my car.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, life is as gratifying as it has ever been waking up in my car.
Got you.
Some of that was because I felt so strongly that I was obeying and doing what God had asked me to do. And so it's interesting that you say, do we genuinely, or that guy was saying, do we genuinely believe? I wonder how many of us do.
Yeah.
I wonder how many of us do. I do know, I don't know the study, but I read it a couple of years ago, that you are statistically speaking much more likely to be happy, content, and fulfilled in your life if you have faith in God.
Yeah.
I do know that's true.
I don't know that's true for everybody, but I know that it's been true for me.
Yeah, well, I think I know a lot of miserable believers.
Yeah, that's for sure. Sure. I know a lot of miserable believers too.
So I don't think faith in God, quote unquote, is the recipe for happiness, quote unquote. But I think some of it has to do with your actual faith. Like, how deep is it? Is it a surface level thing where it's like God is out there?
Yeah.
Or is it genuinely something like you have had some experiences,
right,
where it's gone where you embody your faith?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's
like where it's transitioned from this thing that's like, maybe it goes from being intellectual to where you own it, like emotionally, spiritually.
Right. I have, yeah.
And I guess my perspective is that's where we're more likely to find the peace that we're looking for. I don't want to use the word happiness because I think that's like a fleeting emotion.
It is.
But fulfillment is a very
clarity.
Yes.
Direction.
Yeah.
That because we could. I just watched some content about a 21-year-old who developed who made 120 million developing an AI app. That 21-year-old dropped out of Harvard. Just and he even said, I'm not a super genius. I'm just maybe above average intelligent. I grew up on TikTok. I understand the algorithm. I understand what people want. I'm tapped into my audience, and I knew what people needed was not a chat bot, but one that could see everything that I'm seeing on my screen and hear everything that I'm hearing on my device and help me without me asking or having to prompt it. So it's solving problems, right?
Yeah.
And I'm mentioning that because my hope is that your week has been good because you've been able to solve problems, right? And God has been able to be present in that space in your life, and it's giving you fulfillment in a way that helps, right? Because I think even with this platform, it's a specific thing that I've been instructed to do. And we talked about that last time.
Yep.
And I'm realizing, I'm serving a specific group of people, a specific community that's outside of the 21-year-olds that are developing applications and making millions of dollars. We start doom scrolling and we forget that there's so many me's and you's.
Yep.
That are, we're 40, 30 plus. We're all cooked. It's the right. We're all saying to ourselves, it's over.
Yep.
Right. But the world is become so small because of these, small steps forward. And then you have people that are driving their vehicles on DoorDash and Uber Eats for $100 a day, $200 a day, or doing Uber.
Yep.
And then you have the other end of the spectrum where kids are dropping out of college, developing applications and software and tech and making millions. And they actually think that, it's our job and our duty to make the world more interesting. Like that's their philosophy.
Interesting.
Right.
It is fascinating how your beliefs, your perspectives, and your worldview can really dictate what you do or don't do.
Right. Right.
I think that one of the things that younger kids have right now with the development of AI and everything is they don't have some of the, I don't want to say shackles, but it's probably better. Or I think their minds are much more open to what's possible.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so they're likely to adapt a lot quicker and a lot easier. Like when I graduated high school, no one had email, let alone cell phones. I didn't have my first cell phone until years, because I graduated 7 or 8 years ahead of you.
Yeah.
So no one in my class had email.
For sure. When I left high school, I had an email address. Having an email address was like a thing. If it was like AI now.
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, the internet's,
When did you get your first cell phone?
I had a bar phone. Snake game was on it.
Okay.
So I want to say, let's say 2000.
Okay, so how old were you in
2014.
Okay. So I didn't get my first cell phone until I was 22.
And see, that wasn't even my phone. That was my mom's phone. So, but she didn't really like.
I played that Snake game though.
Yeah, on the bar phone. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so that's, yeah. See, but it was nowhere near as advanced technologically as it is now. But yeah, I was 14 for sure.
So think about how much the world has changed. I'll use my graduation as an example.
Yeah.
I didn't surf the internet for the first time until a year after I graduated high school. And one of my buddies was in college.
Yeah.
And he had a Mac. And I remember, like, what is this? Everyone's talking about this internet thing.
And it was a thing. Yeah.
Yeah. And
what year is that?
That was end of 96. Like summer, fall of 96.
So then you were still doing dial up.
Oh, it was the whole like AOL thing. Yeah. All of that.
I think my first web experience was, what was it? Chat? What was it like?
Did you do the chat rooms?
I think it was like the Hotmail, or maybe it was like, I don't know. Yeah, I think I did the chat rooms.
It was probably Hotmail. AOL was the big one.
I think it was AOL.
Yep.
And I think like some of my classmates was like, yeah, I'm on the internet talking to somebody. And I'm like, what?
I never did the chat room thing.
You never did? Okay, that was my first.
I know it was a big deal, and it kind of got sideways for a lot of people.
What? That had to be like 03?
Yeah. Sounds about right.
Maybe 02?
Yeah.
It's my first like web browsing experience. But I don't think I was browsing though. I don't even think I understood what it was fully. I think all I understood was, I think MySpace, I think Black Planet had popped up, and where you could
I remember
meet
MySpace. I don't remember Black Planet.
Black Planet. I think it was Black Planet, but that was like, I think it was more so like a dating tool then, is what it was.
Gotcha.
Yeah. It was less. Hold on. This is my sister. Hello. What's going on? I'm shooting some content. I'm gonna call you right back. Okay. Yeah, I think it was more so like being used for dating at the time. Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah, man. We are living in a different world. I mean, it's a different planet. Incidentally, I think there's more opportunity.
Yeah.
Than there has ever been before.
Yeah, and it's super accessible, like more so than ever before. And that's, I mean, when you talk about getting through hard times, I think persevering through times when it's, because business is up and business is down, and then you start comparing, you know what I mean, your journey to other people's journey, your life experience to other people's life experience, and then you get caught up and you start mixing up the intangibles, right? Like what's important, what's not important. I don't. Do you have kids?
I do not.
You don't?
I do not.
Man.
Yeah. So I am 46. I'm almost 47. I don't have kids. And
how do you feel about that? Like not having any children?
Man, that's a great question. I love kids. Like I do. I love kids. Like I'm an uncle. Yeah. I've got 10 nieces and nephews. And
10 nieces and nephews.
Yeah, man. So being an uncle has been like one of the coolest parts about my life. I did have a stepson.
You did have a stepson.
I did, yeah. And that was
let me just add this real quick, right? Something I saw on the internet recently. And it was a funny like meme, maybe like a meme video. And it was like, man, you never hear white people say that they going to their cousin house. Do white people got cousins?
So you just saw a video like this?
I just saw this, right?
Yeah, that's really funny.
So I bust out laughing because I'm like, man, and you sit back as that's like, and you go in the comments and they're like, yeah, we do have cousins. We just call them by their name. We don't call them.
Call them. My nieces and nephews, their lives, I mean, they're like best friends.
Yeah.
They hang out. I think they refer to each other as cousin. I mean, it's a big deal. I think that's a misnomer there.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Maybe my family's different.
Maybe.
Or maybe cousins means something different in the black community.
In the black community,
I don't know.
It means
so what does it mean?
It just means that we've been so relegated to, so used to identifying our parents, siblings, children as our cousins, and not really being as close as we should be, to the degree that we reference them as cousin and not their name, because we don't necessarily know.
You just call them all cousin?
This cousin, yeah, or we might call them by their name, but it would never be like my parents and their siblings are. The stereotype is your mom might not be speaking to her sister because of some mundane, petty thing, right? And so y'all don't spend a lot of time together, right? So in the Black community, we spend that at our cousin's house. Our mamas are really close, right? Even when they fall out, they curse each other out, they get back together. So it's a different experience from a family standpoint.
I do appreciate these types of conversations. You find different things culturally.
You find different things for sure.
I think that's one of the things that's missing, by the way, in our culture today, is people become more and more isolated.
Yeah. And we just forget, not forget, but we disregard, the need for community.
And family is
huge. But I didn't mean to interrupt what you were.
No, that's okay.
You were speaking about how you felt about not having children, and you were saying that your experience with having a bunch of nieces and nephews.
Yeah, so I'll back up. A lot of it has to do with, I gave up on being married. I gave up on having kids because of the mental health issues that I've had.
Gotcha.
And I was just like, you know what? I'm going to because I love children. They're not really children anymore. They're now adults, most of them. But I used to love kids.
Yeah.
I still do. But so my thought process was, well, because of I'm disqualified to be a husband and father because of OCD.
Right.
I'll never have a family. And so I will pour my love and energy into my nieces and nephews.
You just decided that. You just said, you know what?
I told myself that. And in retrospect, it's the craziest thing I could have done.
So I spoke over your whole life.
And that's all. I mean, the other thing is, some of it had to do with my coping mechanisms.
Yeah.
So my coping mechanisms were women, alcohol, and then sometimes drugs. Right. But mostly like the sort of the stronger of the three for earlier in my life. Because it made me feel good to have multiple women in my life.
Yeah.
And not be committed to any of them.
I think every man goes through that.
Yeah. And some of it had to do with, I never had to address what I thought were my inadequacies. If there was no commitment, if there were no expectations.
Got you.
Right. So I would target, I targeted women who would expect nothing from me.
Yeah.
And alcohol was just a way to numb the pain and feel good and feel better and all of that. It's, we were going to discuss going through, like, how do you go through hard times? How do you persevere?
Right. While you're shattered, while you're broken.
Yes. And the funny thing is, like, I don't really want to be having this conversation this morning.
Right. No. Right. Listen, man. Don't want to do it. But I think it's so much value there. We just got to figure out how we serve whoever's needing this.
Yes.
And that's why I asked that, because the person that I was listening to talk about their future or the future, they were like, everybody wants to have kids, or they were talking to the podcaster didn't have kids.
Yeah.
He's like, do you have kids? He's like, no, I don't have any kids yet. Do you have hope for a future? He's like, not really. I guess I'm not going to think about that until I have kids. And he's like, see, that's the problem. I grew up in a different time. I'm looking at these things that are happening, missiles and all types of stuff. And I say all the time, people just want to see their kids grow up and have a hope in the future. And people who care about legacy have an idea of what they want for the future, for their kids.
Yep.
And they have a different drive. Like, I have a different type of hope. Like, I could never get to a place of despair that would, I guess, like, deactivate me in my purpose, because I know if I shut down on me, then I'm ultimately shutting down on the mission that the Most High has for me. But I'm ultimately shutting down on my seed, on my kids, right? And that keeps me up for 10 to 16 hours a day.
Yep.
Sometimes 18 to 20 hours a day, making sure that the hope and security that I believe and see for my future, for my kids' future, is secure in some kind of way. But somebody that doesn't have any kids, they don't really have that takeaway.
I don't have that takeaway
at all. Is what you said.
No, I mean, I don't. Right now, I don't have that.
Okay, I got you.
So I have to find a different kind of motivation.
Yeah, you got to pull from a different place.
And I think every parent, at least every good parent that I talk to, I think one of the baseline things that you want as a parent is you want your kids to have a better life than you've had.
For sure.
And I think it's also why it's very difficult for parents to watch their children go through hard times. It's like you would take it, you would shield them from it if you could, but you can't. And it's part of, like, you have had to live your life, they will have to live theirs. But I do believe that family is probably the best motivator in life,
right,
for anyone. Christian, not a Christian, believe in God, don't believe in God. It really is an amazing motivator.
It is.
But we're sitting here, we're having this conversation. I am a little more than a month away from turning 47.
How do you feel about that?
Well, it slammed me the other day, like it was like a sledgehammer. Like, you're 3 years from 50.
Did it have you in tears and shame?
I was not in tears, but so there's two paths your mind can go down.
Right.
There's more than two, but there's one is good and one is not good.
Hold on, give me 1 second. Go ahead. Lolita, I'm filming content right now. I'm gonna call you right back as soon as I'm done. All right. Go ahead.
So my life, here's one way of thinking.
Yeah.
My life does not look the way that it's supposed to look.
Right.
I don't have the money that I'm supposed to have. I don't have the family I'm supposed to have. I don't have whatever all of the supposed to should have. Like, they're not there.
But you're rich in wisdom and experience.
Exactly.
And you've got like almost a 10-year, like, you're 10 years ahead of me. Like, you're almost a decade ahead of me. I thought about that this morning. I'm like, gosh, I'm about to be 40. That means I'm only have 10 years. I only got really 10 years to really get done what I need before I'm really cooked, right? Like, this is what I'm thinking, right? So, but you've made, I'm certain, so much money in your lifetime.
I lost. Well, you're coming into 40. When I was 40, I was worth several $1 million.
Yeah.
I'm not worth, like, I'm worth less than zero right now.
So
Like
in my mind,
financially,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
In my mind, I know I've probably accumulated $1 million over the course of my life.
Yeah.
On and off the books combined, probably.
Yeah.
I'm certain of it, right? And I think when I go through like the governmental records and look at the actual recorded earnings,
Yeah.
it's probably like my best year was 93 grand on a job, right? Working.
Yeah.
So I know, like, in my mind, I'm thinking if I ever made $1 million liquid, $7 million liquid, there's no way that I would ever go broke again in my life. If I was able to say that at 40,
Yeah.
I was worth 7 million. It's no way. I have too much information, right? But I know that your wisdom and experience will teach me something about that thought that you probably had at the time too.
Well, I was supposed to be worth $50 million right now, based on the projections that I had.
Of what you were doing.
What I was working on, I had leveraged pretty much all of my net worth into the cannabis business. And I was doing it with some heavy hitters, people that knew what they are doing.
Yeah.
Billionaires. And so our projections had us basically selling our company right now for over $1 billion.
Yeah.
We did not achieve that. I took an early exit. And some of that had to do with I was going through OCD issues pretty bad. I was not productive. And so that's sort of been some of like my life when I don't have OCD or when the OCD is less prominent. I typically am very productive. And then I will go through these spells where like going to the grocery store is difficult. Mm-hmm. That's been like, I've had these crazy highs and lows. So I said, there's two paths you can go down. So one is I'm almost 47 and I'm like, my life doesn't look like what it's supposed to look like.
Yeah.
Another avenue is what an amazing gift that God has given me to lose everything because I found him. And so
that's reframing.
Yeah. So it's reframing it. And then the other thing is understanding that perhaps the things that I was obsessed with and focused on are the wrong things. So I do want to back up a little bit because I said the amazing gift that God has given me of losing everything.
Right.
That makes it sound like it's what he wanted.
Yeah.
And my belief on God's sovereignty is different than most.
Yeah.
I don't think God controls outcomes.
Okay.
For a lot of life.
Okay.
I think his plan as a whole, from start to finish, will be achieved.
Right.
But I also think he has given us agency.
Yeah.
He's given us the ability to make decisions.
I believe that.
And so we make decisions that are good decisions that he would recommend, or we make poor choices that often lead to pain. And so I'm just trying to get my thought here. So I don't believe he controls the outcomes.
Right.
I think it's more of like he's alongside of us.
Yeah.
And his guarantee to us, at least as I see it, is no matter how much you have hurt other people, or how much other people have hurt you, or how much life has just happened. Some of it's like happenstance, right? The issue is he's not controlling everything always, but he's always there with us in it. So my gift in where I'm at in life right now, and you asked how I'm doing amazing.
Yeah.
I'm doing amazing because I'm walking with God now.
Yeah. So in walking with God, I think that you find moments where you must trust.
I have no choice right now.
Yeah. And, I think recently I went through that where I was having a moment because I think the phone company had messed up my payment arrangement and I was waiting for a payment to come in from a client and my phones got interrupted for like an hour and 30 minutes. And in that moment, I'm just thinking the worst things. Like, I was supposed to get a payment from somebody to make sure that the money was there. So, and I said, you know what? I stopped, right? And I was like, God, I'm gonna trust you. I'm gonna trust you, and I'm gonna move forward and continue doing what I'm gonna do. This doesn't feel good, and I don't like how it feels. And then I cursed out loud, right? I'm not gonna say the word that I said because I gotta do better. I gotta be better. I gotta stop cursing. I do. But I cussed out loud. Right? You know what I'm saying? And a part of me almost felt like I know that God knows that I wasn't cursing him.
Yeah.
Right? Like, so the posture of my heart was, I don't want to feel this, but I'm going to trust what you're doing right now. So I'm thinking my wife is panicking, my mom is panicking, I got, my son is panicking, I got my people's on my, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
In about an hour and 30 minutes, I just, right, sat in that. And then the next thing you know, I get a text. Your service has been restored. I'm like, oh man, my wife's going to call me. She's going to say, oh man, right? When she calls me cracking up laughing, saying, I just called, oh yeah, the phone, you got my message? Yeah, that has messed something up with the arrangement that we had. Oh, okay. Right. So everything that I was thinking, and we start telling ourselves
the stories
of our tragedies and our downfalls and our shortcomings. And it just creates anxiety. It creates high blood pressure. It creates aggravation, mental fatigue, all because you don't know how to trust the Most High with what's going on.
Let go
and
just a
let
little
go
bit.
just a little bit. You're trying to control and have your hands on everything. And it's just not good for you. You know what I mean? And so
no, it's not. And one of the things that you're highlighting is the stories that run almost on automatic for a lot of us.
Right.
Like the stories that we have that are subconscious or our mind or our flesh, however you want to word it, most of the time, that little voice that's playing in the back of your head is not your friend.
It's not.
And I still don't know where that comes from.
It comes from the trust that we have in that little voice in the back of our head.
Who is very misguided.
Yeah, because we listen to that voice.
Yep.
We make decisions from that voice.
From fear.
Like that voice in the back of our, it comes from us trusting that voice. Right? Knowing the difference between your voice or that voice and the voice of the Lord, the Spirit of the Lord guiding you every day, is usually the antithesis of what your flesh is feeling, right? Like, the thing that you should not be listening to, the thing that you should not be doing, the thing that you should not be saying, it comes from that voice, and you trust that voice. And that's what it is, and that's where it comes from, man.
I think it's very likely that part of what that voice is saying has to do with some of the belief systems that we have.
Yeah. Some of the things,
So I talked about the idea that right now there's a path I could go down on how much of a failure I am, on the fact that how is it possible that I'm closer to 50 than 40? I'm broke. I'm choosing to do this podcast. And, I've made a choice to be very open about my faith in God.
Yeah.
And to talk about mental health, which in many ways makes this podcast less commercially viable.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Because this isn't like, this is how to make life amazing.
Nah, it's not.
Like, this is the hard stuff. So I'm doing this basically because God told me to.
Yeah. I was going to ask you that. I was like, why do you keep showing up? You need to tell your people why you keep showing up for them. And you just said it. I'm showing up, and I'm going to keep showing up because this is what I've been called to do. It's not something that I want to do. It's not something that I'm trying to do. I don't even know the person that's helping me do this well, right? But the door has been open for me to be able to do it.
Yeah, here we are.
Here we are doing it. And that's noble. That's honorable. And it keeps me honest, man, because I'm feeling the same weight of it, right? Like, man, like, gosh, we need to do this. I got to do it, but I don't want to rush through it or push through it in a way that says, I just want to get it over with. It's not only am I going to have to do this, I'm going to have to do this with you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And that's what makes it like, yeah, man, I'm going, like, this episode 3 is about persevering through hard times. And I've had hard times, bro. These past, I don't know, since the last time I seen you, bro, the emotional, spiritual, financial roller coaster I've gone on since the last time I seen you. Man,
it's been hard.
It's been hard. It's been hard, but I persevered through letting go, saying, you know what? God, I'm going to trust you. I know that you've called me to do this. And so you've got to make this work. I'm going to put myself in position. I'm going to work like a Hebrew slave toward the thing you've called me to. And I am not going to worry about how this is going to happen, how that's going to happen. I'm just going to show up. And I'm going to show up and do everything as if I'm doing it unto you. I'm going to serve my clientele, my people. I'm going to commit to my own word the same way that you do.
Yep.
When I say something, I'm going to do it. And that's another thing too. I'm here because I already said, right? Like, forget about how I feel about what I said last week. Nah, like, the key is me delivering on my word that I said last week and what I felt last week or last month or whenever I said that I was going to do this.
By the way, and I want to be transparent because we should have had this conversation 2 weeks ago.
Right.
And I live on the border of North Carolina and South Carolina.
Yeah.
It's the middle of summer. By the way, I'm not living in a car anymore, but I'm living in a motorhome.
Yeah.
And it's a great, simple life for me right now.
Yeah.
I don't have a house to furnish and maintain, and I couldn't afford one right now anyway, which is fine. But my AC went out.
Yeah.
So I didn't sleep well, very little the night before we were supposed to actually shoot this episode.
Right.
And I canceled.
Yep.
And
we took the week.
And that's on me. And what was going through my head as I was waking up that morning is I can't shoot like this. I can't shoot having had a miserable night with no sleep. But we probably should have done that.
We probably should have did it because that was a perfect time to do it. And then same thing happened to me the next week.
Yeah.
I took the week because I was having a rough week. I can't tell you what was going on, but I know that I was working, like grinding.
Yeah. You had a lot going on.
Yeah, I don't remember what it was or what, but I know I needed to make money, and I was on the wire, and then and it happened for me, right? So I'm able to just come in this week and feel a little bit better. Like, all right, we made some stuff move, right? Like, so yeah, man. So we ended up taking 2 weeks to bring you episode 3. We just really delivered episode 2 maybe a couple of days ago.
Yep.
Go check that out.
Yep. Check out episode 2. But I do want to highlight some things with you that have been transformative for me.
Yeah.
Because we're talking about like persevering through hard times.
Yeah.
A year ago was the hardest. I was in the hardest stretch of my life.
Yeah.
My mental health is out of whack. Business is falling apart. Marriage is falling apart. Just everything that can go wrong is going wrong. And there was so much momentum. I was grasping.
Yeah.
And trying to find my footing, and I couldn't find it. But that's also what led me to ultimately surrendering to God, because I'm like, well, I have messed life up.
Jacked it up royally.
So somehow I have made decisions that have led to the destruction of everything that I care about. Not everything. I mean, I still have my parents and brothers and,
Yeah.
So I can't sit here and say that I was Job. It felt like it.
It felt like it, though. Yeah.
The stuff that really mattered to me was dissolving fast.
Right. It's just transformative stuff you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. But there are some things that really changed me in the process. And one was, I understood that I was suffering. I talked with you about, one of my therapists was like, your emotional suffering is as intense as it can get for a human. Like, you have been pushed all the way to the limit emotionally. There's no more dragons to fight. You're at the very end of it. And so part of me could have been like, well, this isn't fair.
Right.
But part of me was like, okay, then I'm still here. And addicts have a saying, if I can survive a minute, or some people that are in addiction recovery, if I can go a minute, I can go an hour. And if I go an hour, I can go a day.
Yeah.
If I go a day, I can go a week.
Yeah.
If I can go a week, I can go a month.
Right.
And that is one of the things I'm like, well, I say this is unbearable because this is what my mind was telling me. You can't take any more of this. You cannot take one more day of this.
Yeah.
But then I realized, well, I just said that for 3 weeks. My mind was telling me I couldn't take another day 3 weeks ago and 3 months ago. And so clearly that's a lie. So I found a reservoir of strength that was much greater than I ever anticipated. But I found that when I fully surrendered.
Yeah.
And I realized, if I just let go of all of these outcomes that I believe have to turn out a certain way, like I told God, if you don't save my marriage, then I don't have a testimony. I was kind of negotiating with him.
Oh, man.
And I was like, I won't have a testimony for you if you don't save my marriage. Yeah. And then I realized, well, it wasn't even really his decision to make.
Yeah.
Right. And, I had made enough of decisions that led me to the place that I was at. And sometimes there's just too much water over the dam or under the bridge, and you can't get it back. And sometimes it's just too far gone. Right. But surrender surrendering outcomes is, I believe,
like letting go of the results,
yes,
detaching, disconnecting emotionally from the results of a thing.
If you don't control it,
yeah,
and that's ultimately, if you don't control an outcome, then all you can do is ask yourself, what do I control? The only thing that often we control very little, right? We control the effort that we give.
Mm-hmm.
We control not our reactions, but we do control our responses.
You control the controllable.
Right? Because we're going to react emotionally. You can't control that first jolt of, like, you might get a jolt of anxiety, or you might get a jolt of anger, or whatever those things that you were feeling when you're dealing with your phone issue.
Yeah.
So that first thing you have zero control over. But
right.
What you do with it, you do control.
Yeah.
Are you going to go into that? Like, are you going to go and start to hang out in the space of like, I failed my family. This is terrible, And then what story are you telling yourself about that thing? Are you going to go there? Or are you going to be like, okay, wish I hadn't done that, or wish that hadn't happened. Right now, it's out of my control. What can I focus on?
Yeah, it's despair.
Right now.
It's despair.
Yeah, despair is it's a real thing.
It is. It is.
And it's very powerful. So back to things that kept me going. So I came to terms with the fact that I was suffering. And I did it with the help of some really good therapists.
Right.
But I was able to determine what the suffering meant.
Yeah. And this is transformative for you.
I decided that it was going to change me. I was going to change.
Yeah.
I don't believe we go through pain and don't change. But the change that we go through in pain isn't always good. Right? Someone hurts you, you just put up more walls so no one else can hurt you. Maybe become a little bit more jaded.
Yeah.
Maybe you start to be more bitter at the world because one person hurt you. So you start to punish every other person that comes into your life so that they don't either you punish them or you build up walls to quote unquote keep yourself safe, but all you are doing is you're cementing yourself in the hurt itself. So I asked God, I said, I don't want to be in this suffering, this place of suffering 1 minute longer than is necessary.
Yeah.
However, this was I had never done this in my life before. I said, but I don't want to cut it short. I don't want to take the easy way out. I don't want to go and numb it. I don't want to go and try and forget about it. So I'm not going to dwell in it, but I will allow it to teach me.
Yeah. That's good.
And then as I did that, that's where you start to find strength that's not yours.
Yeah.
That's where you can just kind of be like, all right, God, I'll give my all today.
Right.
The outcome's up to you. And I think that's kind of what surrender looks like.
Yeah, it does. And it almost, you almost have to forget that you've surrendered or you've disconnected from the emotional attachment that you have to the outcome. Because if you don't forget about it, it's like you didn't do it really. Because everything else is worry, everything else is anxieties. You gotta allow the detachment to actually be a detachment. You know what I'm saying?
Or maybe it's a decoupling. Yeah. Maybe it's a decoupling from one thing to another. Because I don't think we're meant to just float in space without attachment.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't
think
even
maybe
say
it's attachment to God.
Yeah, I wouldn't even say that it's floating in space without attachment. But like in my moment, not kinda. I dove into the direction that I was going. Because see, before you had your moment of despair or whatever the trigger was that got you to the place where you were like, this is bad, this is bad.
Yeah.
You were going in a direction. You were headed
Yes.
in a place where even if you couldn't physically be there, mentally you were already there. And that was in that moment before you had your time of despair. That was already decided by you. That was already a divine appointment. It was already where you were going. And so just to add value to the person that is going through right now, joy does come in the morning. Sounds like a cliche thing, but storms end.
Everything.
Storms end.
They do.
You're gonna get through this. And there's no way.
Yeah.
You can't go around it. You can't go above it. You can't go underneath it. Like, you need this bad moment. And we got to reframe it. It's not a bad moment. You need this moment, this good thing, this adversity.
It might be very challenging.
That might be very challenging.
Difficult.
Yeah.
Hard.
You need it.
Sometimes. Well, it depends, right? So this is where having a faith in God changes everything.
Yeah.
Because we're living this is a temporary life.
Yeah.
Right? I said I'm 47, almost 50. Let's say I live 100, so I'm like halfway there. Close to halfway there. 47% of my life, right?
Done.
And then you also know, okay, the last 10 or 20 years, you're probably, that would feel different if you live that long, but it's also temporary. And
would you be considered like millennial or Gen?
I think I'm Gen X.
Yeah, I think you're like late.
I think I'm Gen X.
Gen X, right? Yeah. Yeah, definitely Gen X because because if we're like, yeah, definitely Gen X for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if we're so focused on what we think we need in this life,
yeah,
and God is our Father, how much of this life, the things that we think we need, how much are we like kids that want candy?
Yeah.
Because he sees a picture that we don't see, right? Like we think in terms of days and weeks and months. He thinks in terms of eternity. He knows things that we don't know. And so if giving us the very best things on earth would negatively impact where we spend or how we spend eternity, maybe the best thing he can do sometimes is allow us, because his grace holds everything together, right? So maybe sometimes the best thing he can do is allow us to experience the ramifications for the decisions that we've made, for the selfishness that we've had, for the perspectives that we have that are harmful and faulty. And so sometimes maybe the brokenness is what you need in order to reset. And part of the reason I'm actually doing this podcast is I hope that my story can, for people that are really in despair, my story is for them. And what we are doing is for them. It's like continue on, persevere.
That's good.
Right? It's for them. And then another part of it is maybe by me telling my story, there's another marriage that I can save.
Yeah.
Because I didn't get the help. I didn't get the proper help in time.
Yeah.
I tried. It just didn't happen. And I mean, I was relentlessly trying to get well while deteriorating rapidly in like mentally for most of my marriage. And so my marriage failed, but perhaps
somebody else's
maybe I can help another couple who's going through this where the wife can't take anymore because the husband's at a dark place. He can't figure out a way to get out. That's what it was with me. Maybe it's vice versa. Maybe the husband is like, you know what?
Yeah, because it's
Screw-
not always infidelity. It's not
Yeah.
always financial issues. It's not always the same thing. I just got an idea, man. I think we should, as we close out this pod, we should probably talk about what we want the next episode to be based on like how we close out. Like this conversation is sparking a lot of ideas, man. Like, so based on what we've talked about with, you know, persevering through hard times and what that looks like, what it takes, what should the cliffhanger be here, like for the audience? Like, what should we tell them that they're going to expect to hear us talk about the next time we link up?
That is a fantastic question. And I don't have the answer to it right now.
Right, not right now.
But there is something that I want to leave everyone with, and maybe we can expand on this.
Yeah.
The impact of gratitude on your life.
Yeah.
No matter where you are
And what it looks like.
and what is happening in your life. Gratitude, being grateful, like genuinely grateful for things.
Yeah. Well,
Will change
I want to
your life
challenge you.
experience.
I want to challenge you on that. And I want to challenge myself and challenge the audience. I dare you to take the next 7 days to just be grateful every day, in spite of the circumstance, in spite of what it looks like, in spite of what your situation is, and see how that gratitude impacts you by next Tuesday.
Yeah.
See what being grateful has done and be able to talk about gratitude in a way that really is like, here's what my week of gratitude really felt like.
Well, when you asked me how I was doing earlier, I'm telling you, the reason that I was able to answer the way that I answered is because I have been living in gratitude.
Yeah.
And sometimes because I've been forced to, right? Like I don't have a lot of the other thing. I don't have a lot of things in life right now that I would prefer to have. So I've been living gratitude.
Yeah.
And that was also a shift that I made last year in the middle of the worst of it. I started being grateful for the fact that I had food to eat instead of waking up thinking about how much of a failure I was, that I was living in my parents' spare bedroom.
Yeah.
I was grateful for the fact that I had a bed.
Man, I was watching BMF. It's a TV show that 50 Cent came up with. And basically the father had hurt his hand on his job. He got dropped the engine block on his hand. Then, you know, that was his playing hand for his music. And then his wife wanted him to move out because she couldn't get food stamps because, you know, you can't have a man in the house. And he was just in despair. And it was just like, I don't want to live anymore. No one needs me. I can't fulfill my purpose. I can't do anything with myself right now because of where I am in life. And that scene, he had real tears in his eyes. I know they were depicting a story of somebody else's life, like a biopic, but so many men end up in that place of despair where it's like, I don't even want to move. I don't want to go anywhere. I can't do anything. I'm not worth being anything or doing anything or going anywhere. And I've felt that before, you know, and it's really a debilitating feeling of like, I don't even want to get up, you know, and it's a real thing. And I guess I'm bringing this out because I think gratitude is the answer, because that was the only thing that I was able to do to pull me out of that space, was smile through, laugh through. And that gratitude gave me something to move towards.
Yes. And gratitude leads you to joy.
Yeah.
And we talked earlier about happiness. Happiness is fleeting. Contentment is, I think, deeper than that.
Yeah.
But joy is something else altogether. I think, and the Bible talks about joy a lot. And we sang these like weird songs when I was a kid about joy. But the Bible says that we should rejoice in our difficulty.
Yeah.
And so it's not like we have to wait until everything is the way that we think it should be to experience joy.
Right.
We can choose joy kind of no matter what.
Yeah.
Like that is your option.
That is your option.
And I found that last year. I found joy. I found peace. I found contentment living in my parents' spare bedroom, doing DoorDash, paying money to doctors.
Yeah. Now, do you ever think through, like, I think we've had, this is our third conversation on record. There's a 21-year-old that I heard today say that it's our job, whoever you are, wherever you are, to make the world a more interesting place. And then you just said the content we're going to make on this podcast is for the people that are in despair, in the deepest, darkest places they can be. Do you think that we hang out there when we get there? And even when we're saying that we're free, even when we're saying that we're no longer shattered, we're no longer shaken, that we doubt what we're saying while we're saying it. And a part of us wants to hang out in despair, wants to be there. Do you think that we get comfortable there until it becomes our language, and it's how we end up outwardly showing up in every space and place? And do you think we like it there, man?
Do we like it there? I didn't.
Yeah.
However, I know that change is difficult.
Yeah.
Like, especially if you're talking about changing something that maybe you've dealt with for a long time. It's a difficult thing. I think it's easy. It's much easier to give in to despair, to negativity, to being a victim.
Yeah.
That's the easier path than self-reflection, growth, forgiveness. Like forgiveness is another very important part of like moving forward in life, because people will hurt you along the way.
For sure.
But yes, I think some people do enjoy, they enjoy.
Did you ever enjoy it?
I don't think so.
Did you ever get comfortable there?
I mean, I got comfortable because I didn't know a way out.
It was a place of hopelessness.
It was a place of hopelessness. For me, I don't think it was so intense over the years with the disorder that I have dealt with. It's so intense. It's very hard to get comfortable.
So
there.
was it gratitude that when you actually did, even though it was difficult to get to that place of comfortability and despair, was it gratitude that, would you say ultimately, that got you out?
Gratitude is one of the most significant things that changed that. I was on my knees praying.
Yeah.
I think this was before Christmas, so it was in December.
Yeah.
And here's what I heard come out of my mouth. Thank you for this pain. Thank you for OCD, because it's helped me see you in a way that I never would have otherwise. And at that point, I was like, oh, I have gone places with this gratitude that I never thought I would be capable of going. But back to the idea, of enjoying it. The reality is change for me has been and is very painful because the only way I will change is to not fall back on the things that temporarily make me feel better.
Mm.
And I'm living without that right now.
Yeah.
So I've made a move to North Carolina, South Carolina. I literally live like the other side of the street is South Carolina, where I live. I live in North Carolina. And we are doing this. There is more of me that doesn't want to do this. We still go on. There's more of me that doesn't want to do this than that does.
Right.
But I also know that God has asked me to do this.
Yeah.
And to me, it doesn't matter if we help 1,000 people or if we help 5 or 10,000.
Gotcha. What's your final thought, man, before we get out of here?
My final thought is keep going. Especially if you're at the place of despair that I was in a year ago where you don't think you can take anymore.
Yeah.
The reality is you can, and you are much stronger than you believe that you are. So keep going. And I'm not going to tell you things will get better today, but they will get better.